Good morning, River Park Church. I'm coming to you from my home this morning. It's still early, the sun isn't quite up, and this morning I'm thinking about how the world looks different depending where you're sitting. So about a week ago, I got a new recliner chair. Oh, life is good. And you can see that the sun is just coming up outside my window here. I love sitting in this chair at the end of the day, kicking up my feet and reflecting on the day, the week, or the month. It's a wonderful place to sit and to reflect. And this morning I'm wondering where you sit. Maybe there's a chair that you're regularly in. Maybe you, more metaphorically, you're sitting, spending a lot of your time at your job, interacting with people who are very similar to you in terms of their age or gender or ethnic group. Or perhaps you're moving around on a regular basis and interacting with people who are very different from you in every way. My point very simply is that the world looks different depending where we sit. One of the $10 words that we use to talk about God is that God is immutable. What we mean by that is that God cannot be fully known, that we can only know him in part. We see in the Old Testament the story of Moses, that Moses wants to see God fully, and God says, no, you can't do that, because if you do, you'll die. You can't take me in. There's joy and peace in that for me. Because you see, from where I sit, it's a joy to recognize that who God is and who I see God to be is only one part of who God is. So this morning I want to invite you to reflect on where you sit and on who you see God to be. What part of God's full and wonderful and huge character, what one part do you see? When you can see, one of the first places we need to start is to recognize that our perspective is just a perspective. It's not the whole. And when we can see ourselves as we really are, as more fully as we are, then we begin to be curious and interested and excited even about other people's perspectives. What might they see that I miss? This is one of the joys of being a mosaic community, is that the more different we are, the more different places we sit, the more perspectives we have on the fullness of God. At least if we begin to be open to one another, to listen to each other, and to fully embrace and enfold one another as members of God's diverse but unified family. So that's what I'm thinking about this morning. Where I sit and how I see God, what perspective I have into God. I invite you to wonder about those two questions as well. Where do you sit? And because of where you're sitting, how do you see God? I hope it's fruitful and meaningful for you individually, and also that it opens up your heart to wonder, to interest in others, and also wonder at the depth and the richness and the greatness of God and of his love for you and for all his people. This weekend, River Park Church celebrates our 70th anniversary, a lot of years of God's faithfulness, and we continue to look forward to the future as well. I hope you'll join us for worship either in person or online. We've got lots to celebrate this fall. God bless you, and we'll see you soon.